In this WrestleTalk news, more details on Sasha Banks' first non-WWE appearance. Claudio Castagnoli, aka Cesaro, reveals why he didn't re-sign with WWE, and Ollie will be here reviewing AEW Fighter Fest, so subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
Now, the former Sasha Banks, aka Mercedes Varnado's sudden reappearance into the spotlight after lying low since her reported WWE release has become quite the talking point this week. Because not only was she announced for the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo C2E2 with nary a hint of WWE mentioned in the advertising, you may know her from In the Ring and Star Wars. But now Fightful Select have found out some more details that seemingly point to her taking the rest of the year out of wrestling. Because after she was announced for C2E2, many wrestling conventions reportedly reached out in order to book her, but were told that she would only be taking non-wrestling related bookings until January the 1st, 2023. Now obviously, WWE haven't actually confirmed that she has been released. They've just been quietly deleting all mention of her in a much more mature manner. But one promoter that Fightful spoke to said that they can't imagine her not being released at this point, as her representatives definitely quoted a firm, specific rate when asked to book her. Not necessarily something that happens for wrestling conventions when you work for WWE. Fightful also said that they couldn't confirm whether not accepting wrestling bookings is a personal preference or something actually contractual, but they've exhausted their sources in order to try and find out. Sasha's not the only one, though, who was shadow released by WWE, because her tag team partner Naomi has also been given the quiet heave-ho, according to all the rumours. Naomi hasn't done anything as extreme as sign up to a convention, but she did put out a tweet that seemed quite pointed at the WWE experience, writing, "Anything that costs you your piece is too expensive," from an unknown, probably attributed to Taylor Swift on Instagram. Much like Sasha, Naomi has also removed all WWE affiliation from her social media presence. Now, sort of sticking with the theme of WWE releases, Claudio Castagnoli, aka Cesaro, quietly let his WWE contract expire back in February before arriving in AEW at last month's Forbidden Door. In a new interview with Sports Illustrated, Claudio revealed that he made the decision to leave WWE after being left off of the Royal Rumble show despite being healthy. And then he chose not to slag off WWE at all. He said, "It can be hard to take the high road, but that's the road I'm going to take. All the memories, they matter. I'm grateful for everything I've accomplished, and I'm grateful for all those opportunities, and they make me work so much harder to get where I want to be." Now, definitely sticking with the theme of WWE releases, let's talk about Keith Lee, who caused a stir this week when he tweeted that he had received some less than stellar news on Tuesday. Now, many assumed that something had happened which could cause him not to compete on last night's Fighter Fest. Instead, he did, and he won the AEW Tag Team Championships alongside Swerve Strickland. Yes. More on that in a bit from Ollie. He also dedicated the win to his friend in Texas, who was recently diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. Telling the crowd in Georgia after the show, "This is more than just a victory for me. This, sir, is a victory for you and a statement of my goddamn love." Keith Lee is honestly a top shelf human being. Send some love to him and to his buddy.
Now it's time for my review of AEW Dynamite in about 5 minutes. The special episode opened on Orange Cassidy taking on the fighting, freshly crowned TNT champion Wardlow. How can Cassidy possibly compete? By having the best friends immediately cheat. But Trent and Chucky are such goofballs, their inexperienced cheating just came off as charming, with Chucky trying to slide Cassidy a chainsaw. And what's more charming than a chainsaw? And Wardlow had Danhausen scouted, pulling him from under the ring in a "you think I'm an idiot" kind of way. For me, this was a perfect blend of comedy and action that somehow stayed competitive without undermining Wardlow's monster appeal. And Cassidy's final beach break nearfall actually had me on the edge of my seat before Wardlow countered his orange punch into one powerbomb to win. Wardlow is a difficult champion to book. His previous appeal was A, the underdog henchman, or 2, all-dominating monster. Now you can't really get away with either of those. This was a great first installment of continuing his winning momentum while still delivering a compelling match. Guys, I think Pat got locked out when you closed the Forbidden Door door last month. He's stuck in England, beating Shota Umino in Rev Pro. Chris Jericho cut a serious, non-JAS promo on Eddie Kingston, saying their barbed wire death match next week, now with added bonus shark cage stipulation for a limited time only, will be against his Painmaker gimmick, which isn't as threatening as Jericho thinks it is. I know how to strike fear into the heart of admitted murderer Eddie Kingston. My little hat! Ooh, I've got a little hat on! This was a solid, effective promo though, getting over how Jericho has beaten up all of Kingston's friends and how this will be the final fight. Thank God. Been going on for ages. Eddie then shouted for 30 seconds in a retort promo backstage, which raises two questions. Why doesn't Eddie get longer promos? And if Eddie was there, why didn't he try to murder Jericho like he always tries to murder him? Moxley made Takeshita tap in an excellent, hard-hitting, violent match, which, going by WWE's Championship Contenders rules, means Takeshita definitely gets a shot at the title now. AEW are doing a fantastic job building up Mox with weekly battles. Taz had a very effective line asking what CM Punk must be feeling watching this at home, making their inevitable clash feel like one of the biggest matches in company history. I would like a proper storyline for Mox's own though before Punk comes back. Otherwise, this does just feel like filler rather than a proper reign to invest in. The House of Black cut a promo on Darby Allin. Buddy Matthews sure looks different. Now it's time for Christian's Inappropriate Line of the Week. Luchasaurus was taking on Griff Garrison, which means you better believe Christian's gonna make fun of someone's dead dad. The cheapest of heat reaction got diminishing returns this week on Brian Pillman Jr., possibly because MJF did far worse in their feud last year. Luchasaurus squashed Griff Garrison because he looks like Jungle Boy, as though Christian is training his dog to attack anyone who looks like him on sight, and then they wiped out both Varsity Blondes, putting them through the timekeeper's table twice because it didn't break the first time. Thanks for your support on Patreon, the venerable Jesse Venable and the cleaner Kenny Shah. Go over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk to get your own shout out. Oh my god, Angelo Parker's got a knife! AEW announced this year's All Out for September 4th from the Now Arena in Chicago. At this point, we can just make this CM Punk wrestling return an annual thing. I will not cry this time. The Dark Order got Hangman Page to join them in a trios match against the House of Black for Rampage. This feels like a step backwards for Page, who was only the top champion in the company 6 weeks ago. He was texting someone at the start of his interview though. I can't wait for that spot to be paid off in a year's time on BTE. Claudio Castagnoli beat Jake Hager in a clash of the real Americans, which was no good because they didn't do a single We the People tease. Claudio's usual spots of uppercuts and big swings were super over, but for me, his gimmick needs more depth beyond "I'm really happy to be here in AEW." He's a Blackpool Combat Club member, but I'm not getting the same dingy, violent tone from him as the rest of the faction. We got a recap of Thunder Rosa losing overseas to Miyu Yamashita to set up a title match in AEW. Way to book your champion in another promotion! Oh, it's a woman, it doesn't matter. And then Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter trash-talked Thunderstorm. Don't you dare introduce women's tag team belts, Tony! Serena Deeb made Anna Jay tap in her hometown, which was a very WWE way to get heat on the heel. I love watching Deeb wrestle. Mercedes Martinez made the save to stop the continued beatdown, building their ROH title match. Interestingly, after someone pointed out on Reddit that Tay Conti has only wrestled one AEW match since teaming with Sammy Guevara 4 months ago, compared to the 55 matches she had wrestled in AEW last year, she seemingly started a storyline with Anna Jay backstage, where they'll either feud or team. Whatever happens, Dark Order is definitely fine and here to stay forever. They told us last week. Jade Cargill still doesn't trust her new baddie. Jay Lethal cut the same promo on Samoa Joe he's been doing for 6 weeks, and the main event saw an excellent 3-way tag title match between the Young Bucks, Swerve in Our Glory, and Team Taz, which I was excited for, even though it was super predictable. And then it wasn't even super predictable. Shockingly, Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee are the new AEW Tag Team Champions. The action was fantastic. Keith Lee not going down in a super kick party. Nick Jackson and Ricky Starks walking the ropes at the same time. Crazy near falls at the end with last millisecond saves. The match was excellent and the outcome was a really fun surprise. But once that shock settles, you do find yourself going, wait, what? The Bucks' tag title reign is now the shortest in company history at 28 days. They were transitional champions, which feels like a missed opportunity with the Super Clash against FTR. You want a long AEW tag title reign for that, going up against FTR's tons of belts. It's okay though, I can't wait for it to pay off in about a year's time on BTE. I love Strickland and Lee, but their time to win was 5 months ago at Revolution. I've not been into their tension storyline, and the tease of Swerve turning on Lee in this match made him look stupid. It was the only bad thing in there. And if you are going to do the Shock title change, I feel like Team Taz were the ones to go with. Hobbs has improved so much. Starks has carried entire Rampage feuds on his promo work since the start of this year. We got swerved, literally, but for me, before I see how it plays out, this was the third best option. What did you think of Dynamite? Let me know in the comments. This was a superb in-ring episode, with 3 excellent matches. The storyline booking is still leaving me a bit cold right now though, with several champions and top stars without a compelling direction. This week's Dynamite is 80%. Apparently all is not well behind the scenes in AEW though. Watch on to learn more.
It is Santana or Ortiz are apparently not on particularly good terms. So this originally came a few weeks ago from Sean Ross Sapp on a review show he was doing where he pretty much speculated that perhaps there was something going on not very nicely between Santana and Ortiz.